Well, it's 5 in the morning, a time when everything makes sense, and all questions are answered, and the power and love of God are available to be realized. And I would like to just describe an experience of the Holy Spirit, which kind of opened my eyes and, gives you insight into things you've only heard about. Previously I'd heard of me by hearing, but now I see. It's like a revelation. And it came through this album. I'm not sure how I bought it, but I was collecting gospel music. It was maybe 25 years ago. So I was a big blues fan, and blues and gospel sort of relate. Saturday night, Sunday morning. And, grew up listening to Odetta, I guess. Odetta and Josh White. Odetta and Josh White were big musical influences when I was like 6 or 7 years old. So this album I just happened to hear, and one night I had the flu or something, or was sitting up in the rocking chair because I couldn't lay down because I was sick, and I was just trying to get some rest late at night, and I had this on probably a cassette player with the Sony Walkman at the time. This is back maybe 1994 or something. And so I listened to it from the beginning and just started to play and closed my eyes. And then I think it's about an hour long, and I must have listened to, I know I sure listened to all the way up to the end, close to the end, if not the end. And it really does build. You start off with the invocation, and then it builds into this emotional, it really is a transporting kind of progression. So then I fell asleep, or I dozed off. So I was listening with my eyes closed the whole time, and then after the end, sound went off, and I fell asleep. And then, I'm not sure how much longer or later, but I was kind of overtaken by this building experience that woke me up. I was in a cloud, this cloud of light. I was still probably half asleep, and then felt this power and presence, like infinite love and infinite power in this cloud of light, and it just built and built, and it became so strong it scared me. And to the point where I fully woke up, and then looked around, but I had this feeling in my body left over from this energy, this immense energy. And it was like seeing a crack in the door, where the energy of the universe is blasting through, and you get a small glimpse. And it kind of changed my whole outlook. But so I'd like to encourage people to listen to this album, but do it, listen to it all the way through, not song by song. And unfortunately, this album is not published anymore. On Amazon shows it's, collectible versions for $150. But fortunately, someone, if you look on YouTube and put in the term Great 1955 Shrine Concert, you will see there's a bunch of postings. Some are just a song, individuals, and one person has posted the entire album, which is 1 hour, 14 minutes. And their name is Reel Black, R-E-E-L Black. And it was posted a year ago. And so this you can listen to continuously. Here's the opening.
And now, friends, to begin our program, let's open your hearts and let the Spirit have His way as the pilgrim travelers come through.
Let's open our hearts and let the Spirit have its way. Surrender and accept. Acceptance. So here's the person who posted this. They have a nice song list. And Dorothy Lovecoats and Brother Joe May are two, and Annette May was a child of Brother Joe May, and she was just a young girl at the time, and she has a really moving, the people, you could tell the audience was just really moved by her song, The Consider Me. Boy, that one really is something. But you have to listen. Don't jump to that song. You have to go through continuously listening until you get to her song, Annette May, Consider Me. And I think Sam Cooke is there, the Soul Stirrers. But so Brother Joe May on Wikipedia, it was 1930 to 1972, billed as a thunderbolt of the Middle West, arguably the greatest male soloist in the history of gospel music, with a voice of unimaginable range and power, moving from a whisper to a scream without the slightest suggestion of effort. So this album, you get the real Holy Spirit and the tradition of the, what would you call it? The revival tradition. This was coming at the end of maybe the great revival traditions. But all the people in this concert had that background, so you really are getting it, and you're getting it live, and it's not studio, and it is rehearsed, but it's live, and it's happening. And the Holy Spirit comes through, and there's a song that says, "Something got a hold of me," and I know I've been changed. And those two phrases, "something got a hold of me," I know I've been changed. You will get that experience through this album if you listen, all the way through. And as they say in the beginning, open your heart and let the Spirit have its way. And so what is the Holy Spirit? I was interested, where is it actually mentioned in the Bible? And of course, if you go to Wikipedia, they say The Holy Spirit is an aspect or agent of God by means of which God communicates with people or acts on them. So you're getting communication from God. I mean, I think I would agree with that. So that's as well as reading the letter, that's a communication. But the Holy Spirit is another form of communication. And so it'd be interesting to collect the verses that in the Bible that mention this. Like, here are some that show up. Romans 8:11. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is living in you. In Acts 1:8, you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you. And then John 3:24. And this is how we know that he lives in us. We know it by the Spirit he gave us. So it seems, I often think there's a lot of, this is one thing that is kind of lost. I guess the Pentecostals maybe try to maintain it, but the direct experience aspect. So I don't know if you get in the megachurch. I'm not a great churchgoer, but there's so much faking. There's the faking of the laying on of hands and the faking of the being slain in the Spirit, and it's become like a cliche or an act. But to get it authentically is so rare, and here it is preserved. This is the authentic Holy Spirit preserved in a recording of it happening. And it's timeless, and it happens as you listen, and it will come through. And then you will understand, a lot of strange things in the Bible become, clarified, and you get to see, behind the veil, let's say, from the expression to the reality. Anyway, that's my appreciation of this. It's the one thing I've found is an actual preservation of the experience of the Holy Spirit. I mean, it's pretty amazing that it that it was preserved, recorded, and it's a decent recording for the time, and it's live, and there's no I don't recall that, it sort of has a nice, there's no break per se. So it's an hour and 14 minutes, and long enough to where if you follow it for that time, you will follow their experience, because the whole audience is going through an experience as well, and you're just part of the audience, and it's timeless. That time is not disappeared. That time becomes real as you listen. So that's